Good afternoon, everyone. This video is going to be uploaded on YouTube channel, Atajurt YouTube channel, but I am also recording it for Jim Bunin's Uygur Pulse video campaign. So my name is Mehmet Volkan Kaşıkçı. I am a PhD candidate in Soviet history at Arizona State University, and I am a Turkish citizen. I am also a volunteer. I have been volunteering for Atajurt for more than 10 months. Almost a year right now. I started in December 2018, last year. So this video is about this testimony. This is a general testimony for imams who are imprisoned, who are detained in Xinjiang right now. Unfortunately, the case of imams hasn't been publicized so much thus far. However, they are the ones whose cases are harshest indeed. So it first occurred to me. Let me first explain in general. So reasons for detention in concentration camps are various. Religious reasons related to religion are only one part of is only one reason among many. People are detained in concentration camps for going abroad, for talking relatives abroad, for just having WhatsApp, for just clicking on an internet, clicking on a website, for very absurd reasons, for very simple reasons. Even though China itself is claiming that this is all about radical Islam, this is all about extremism. People are being detained in concentration camps for extremely simple reasons. However, it first occurred to me back in February, when Serikşan Bilaş was still free and was still the head of Atajurt. It occurred to me that even though reasons for detention in concentration camps are various, the ones who are imprisoned, imams formed a very large portion of people who were officially imprisoned. So when it comes to prisons, and right now, as Zhenya Bunin also wrote in his article, and also Emily Feng wrote about it, right now the new trend is that some people are being released, and some people, a significantly high number of people are being imprisoned, being given prison sentences, and are being transferred from concentration camps to prisons. So right now that's even more important. As I said, it first occurred to me back in February. I told Serikşan Bilaş about it. I said we had to do something about imams, because they are the group who were taking it the harshest. Then Serikşan, as usual, he always acts very quickly, and he's always open to new ideas. He just when I told this to Serikşan, he just came up with the idea that we should have a conference about imams specifically. Then on February, it was February 2 or February 5, I can't remember right now, we had our first conference dedicated to imams and also other people who were detained for reasons related to religion. It was one of our most important conferences indeed, because Serikşan himself gave also a very emotional speech at that conference, and that speech is still being shared. That speech is very famous right now. It's still being shared. We had more than 50 guests that day. We had video testimonies with people, and we collected information of hundreds of imams imprisoned in Xinjiang. Since then, I was hoping to write an article about imams imprisoned imams. However, unfortunately, I didn't have time to write that article. It was partially due to time limitations, and partially due to me being lazy, and I apologize for people. But right now, I thought I can at least do a testimony video for imams, even though I haven't written that article yet. So I was working on the imam's case, and I was working on a sample of 160 imams indeed. most of them are Kazakhs. Most of their information, Atatürk video testimonies, video interviews are the main source for this list. For this list of 160 imams. So imams right now, we usually say as Atatürk members, we usually say that 99% of imams in China, imams in Xinjiang, in East Turkestan are now are now either in concentration camps or in prisons. It might be an exaggeration. Of course, we don't know the exact number, exact percentage of imams who are imprisoned, but we are 100% sure that that's an extremely high percentage of imams. Not only imams, but many people, as we just had another conference today about imams and people imprisoned for reasons related to religion, by the way. And we just had 2 videos with Said, for example, one of Atatürk volunteers, and he talked about 29 people who were detained more than most of them are detained for 20 years, some of them 12 years, 15 years, 17 years for just praying, for just going to mosque. So as I said before, reasons for detention in concentration camps are various, but when it comes to prison sentences, reasons related to religion appears as the most common reason for detention. And imams, they are the group of people who are taking it harshest right now. So we had one testifier, for example, he himself studied at a religious vocational school back in 1990s, and they studied they were there. They studied 60 young guys studied together. They were Kazakhs, Uyghurs, and Dungans. And right now he testified for 20 of his friends, for example. So he didn't know about the remaining ones. Only he and one another friend were in Kazakhstan. It's possible that all the remaining are right now imprisoned in China. But at least we know that 20 of them, 20 friends of him, including Kazakhs and Uyghurs, were imprisoned in China. Right now, I would like to take attention to Imam's case. The media, journalists must publicize their case because their case is the harshest. And we had other examples, other very heavy examples. We have imams who are imprisoned for up to 28 years. Some people told me that their relatives, imams, are being imprisoned as political prisoners. That's a different status in China right now. That means it's the harshest. And also we have many eyewitness accounts about the situation of imams or other religious people in camps. Just today, for example, we had a new ex-detainee who spoke up for the first time, and he said he was. So many ex-detainees reported that there are 3 or 5. Many of them said 3, but a few of them said 5 different types of detainees in concentration camps. The harshest one is usually religious people. So today's new ex-detainee, for example, he said he was among the lightest. He was in the lightest group, so he was not tortured himself. He was not beaten himself, but he saw the harshest group, and the harshest group was the religious people, and they are the ones who are beaten. They are the ones who are tortured, and then they are the ones who are being transferred to prisons. Back in February, what was interesting, I was interested in the question why some imams were only detained in concentration camps, while many others were sentenced to 20 years, 25 years, 18 years, even some to 28 years. That was one of the questions I was trying to answer at the time. Then I talked to people, and they were saying that imams who are being accused of educating children, teaching Quran to children, or imams who are being accused of issuing marriage, performing religious marriages, issuing religious marriages, are imprisoned are directly given 20-25 years of prison sentences. Obviously, that is what imams are supposed to do, and almost all imams do that. And then I thought that only probably some imams in big cities, in large cities, probably are only in concentration camps and not prisons, because in the rural areas, imams always issue marriages, imams always teach children, educate children, and it means that probably all imams in rural areas are right now in prisons, and only a lucky minority in large cities probably are not in prisons and in only concentration camps. By the way, these imams, I should also note that these are all, at least majority of them, are official imams. Sometimes we have cases of imams who worked as cases of people who worked as imams for a few years. They might be their work might be unofficial, because sometimes they just go to a course for a few months, then work as an imam in villages. But in majority of cases, these are all official imams. And I should also note that among these imams, there are Communist Party members. There are members of local congresses. So there are various congresses in China. I'm not very familiar with them too. But sometimes our testifiers report that the imams they were testifying for are members of Congress. So we had one case when one case of an imam who met, for example, Chen Chiango. We have one case of an imam who even met Xi Jinping himself. We have cases of imams who were given prizes, who were awarded for their fight against extremism. So all these imams are right now in prison. And some of them even died in prison. Nurgazi Malikoğlu is the one who comes to my mind quickly. Nurgazi Malikoğlu was the imam of the only Kazakh mosque in Urumqi, and he is the one who met Xi Jinping, and who was also a famous religious scholar, and he died in a concentration camp. His brother gave a testimony for him. So, as I said, at the time, the difference between imams in concentration camps and imams in prisons was not very clear, but still we had a lot of testimonies for imams being in concentration camps, not in prisons yet. However, in recent months, it occurred to us that many of those imams who were only in concentration camps have also been given prison sentences starting from, let's say, maybe June. We have had many cases of transfers from concentration camps to prisons in the last few months. So right now, I cannot even say that a significant portion of imams are in concentration camps, because probably right now at least 90% of them are directly in prisons. We know that only few imams were released from camps. We know some. For example, I remember one guy, Serik. His name was Serik. I cannot remember his surname. His daughter Aybota Serik gave a testimony, and one Tatar imam was released from the camp. We know about her, Abdugani Kumar or something. However, at the same time, as I said, many imams have been given prison sentences recently. I can give a lot of names here. Bakıt Mirzan is one of them, who was detained late in 2018, and he was in a concentration camp for long, but who was just given a prison sentence. Today, for example, Serik Mukay's sister was here. Serik Mukay was given a 20 years of prison sentence in June too. There are a lot of examples like this. So I cannot state the names of all imams in my list, but as I said, I was working on 160 imams. Since I am too lazy, probably I'm not going to write that article soon. So I am inviting journalists to pay more attention to this case, because it is right now kind of clear that it is the new trend. It is the new trend. We are going to talk less about concentration camps and more about prisons. We already need to talk more about prisons indeed, because they are kind of decreasing the number of people in concentration camps, since international criticism, international public pressure has been mostly about concentration camps. They are right now decreasing the number of people in concentration camps, but the number in prisons is significantly increasing. It doesn't mean that these people are being freed. Some are being released, but many thousands of maybe hundreds of thousands are being given prison sentences. And when it comes to prison sentences, imams are very important, and people who are imprisoned for reasons related to religion they constitute a very high proportion. We have the official verdict for a few people. For example, Aybota Janibek's mother, Nurzada Jumakan, is an example. She was the main figure in Emily Feng's article. Indeed, so her mother was given a prison sentence of 20 years just for praying and teaching others how to pray. So we have cases like people are being sentenced to 15 years. Just today we had two examples actually. Two young guys today we had video testimonies for two young guys who are imprisoned for 15 years just because they went to a summer course to mosque summer course for only a few months when they were teenagers, when they were just even children, just 13 years old. So think about it. Even praying, even going to Friday prayers can get you a prison sentence of 15 to 20 years. Then think about imam's case. They are the ones who are being tortured. They are the ones who are taking it harshest. It means that we need to pay more attention to their case. Unfortunately, as far as I know, there is only one Eurasianet piece who covered one of these model imams. I mean, these were imams who were loyal to Communist Party. Even they are who, as I said, who were awarded, who got prizes for their struggle, for their fight against extremism. So even they are right now in prisons. So there was one Eurasianet piece about one of these imams. There were a few, I'm not sure, but Radio Free Asia or Radio Free Europe pieces about a few other imams, but just only a few imams. So there are probably tens of thousands of imams in prisons, and right now journalists must focus more on this issue. That's more or less what I had in my mind. I cannot give any more details. That's enough for now, I guess. And that's the end of this video. Thanks a lot.